We are so excited to be here with you. We are going to do some myth busting together today. Everyone on board? This is like the kind of myth busting that's going to get us so that we can all invest in a nature positive world at a time when the world is quite disempowering. This is a way that each of us can feel empowered. So Kristin and I are really excited to be here to talk to you about this today.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks for getting us started. And I just want to thank Amy for really putting her heart and soul into this forum. We've been a part of it almost since the beginning, and we really enjoy, love all of the conversations that happen here, the catalyzing that happens, and the amount of commitment that we see that everyone in the audience and backstage brings to the climate issue, to the regenerative issue. And so we're just thrilled to be here. And also, thanks for staying for the afternoon. It's a beautiful day out, and you could be a lot of places. So we're really happy to be here with you today.
Now, I'd like to just do a little context setting for what we're going to talk about today. So a lot of times when people look at our name, Nia Impact Capital, they see the impact. They think we invest in the private companies. Anyone here maybe had that impression at first, or if you think about it now when you hear that word. But we actually invest in public markets, public stock market, and we have mutual fund and separately managed accounts that individual investors, foundations, institutions, their financial advisors invest in. So I wanted to lay that groundwork because that's what we're talking about today, is breaking the myths that are connected to that. So let's first jump in on the first one. All right, so the first one is that there is this very strong mantra that you are missing out, total FOMO, if you're not invested in oil and gas. Does that resonate with anyone? Do they feel like it's sort of the ethos that is out there? Maybe by a raising of hands, do you feel this?
Have any of your financial advisors suggested that if you were to divest, you might miss out on returns?
I see a nod and a yes.
The former.
Yes. So that means that you have looked for someone who has a different perspective. Awesome. Well, it's been very successful for oil and gas companies. So retirement capital is just a financial lifeline for them. There's a huge amount of money going from us to, we work in one area, and then we maybe are not paying attention to what we've been doing in our 401ks and other investments, because it's not just retirement money that goes in there. People have other non-IRA and 401k, and that money is also flowing in there.
That's right. Yeah. So,
what does that result in? How much of retirement money is in
fossil fuels?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 99%.
Not only 1% shy of 100%.
That's right.
If you needed, that's my math.
Yeah. Thank you, Holly. And I'll just say the math isn't hard to do. We are going to share some about this. And really the purpose here is to know that our investor voice matters, and that each one of us, by speaking up, can share to help dispel the myths, can help bring our investment advisors along, or in the case of Holly, switch investment advisors if you're not getting what you need.
And so you would think, right? They're putting all this money in. They must be right. It must be a great investment. This is myth number one. Come along. So looking at this graph, you might think that the blue line is oil and gas. That is not. That's high tech. And then the bunch of other lines that are below it are other sectors of the market, utilities, healthcare. The sad line at the bottom, the red one, is oil and gas. So if we want to break a myth, this graphic really shows us this is what's been happening since 2013. And so what does that mean for the average person who might have invested in this?
That if you invested in the oil and gas sector, you have lost money. So if you're including oil and gas in your regular investment portfolios, the chances are that it is dragging you down.
Is this surprising to anyone? Or is this the first time you've seen numbers like this? Again, maybe a show of hands. Okay, great. Glad to have. So we've broken myth. Now we can go out and share this with other people because it is very ingrained. We run into it, a lot of the time, as did, and many of you, if you haven't had this conversation yet if you have a financial advisor, you may find the same story there. So what does nature positive? That's what we're here talking about, is biodiversity, nature positive. So an important component of it is divesting from fossil fuels. But another important part of it is investing in solutions-based companies and seeking low emission profiles. We're going to touch a little bit on each of these. And I just want to do a quick confession. So I didn't think I was going to end up in the financial space again. I left my first job at Morgan Stanley as an analyst that I got right after school and never looked back. I moved to California working on renewable energy. I am back working with Nia because as I was working with companies, I saw that investor engagement was one of the very few things that got them to move. And I was like, okay, I got to go back. We all think about how can we, with what we know how to do, can have the highest impact. And what Kristin was doing at Nia and continues to do is that part that takes us with our money to the next level. So I'm really excited to be here. And I just wanted to share that confession that didn't know I would be back here at this part of my career, but here we are. So Kristin, tell us in a little bit about what it means to do more than once we've divested, what do we do from there?
Yeah, well, I'll just share a little bit of my background as well, because I did grow up in a trading firm where it was algorithmic trading, and the mantra really was buy low and sell high as frequently or as often as one can. That's what you do in a trading firm. And yet I knew that to make a difference in the world, we had to engage. I actually became an educator and a teacher in my day job, and also worked in my family firm at the trading firm. And it wasn't until we sold that firm that I was able to bring my two worlds together. And yes, of course, I was go in divesting from fossil fuels, and yet I didn't want to be part of the incumbent economy at all. None of Wall Street appealed to me at that time. And so I wanted to specifically put money into the solutions that I needed to see for people and planet. And then I also knew that investors, as we said, can make a difference, can actually shift the economy. We get the economy we invest into. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted my money to be going into the very solutions that were going to transition us to the next just and sustainable economy.
Yeah. And so you'll have access to this later. This is the 6 solutions themes that guide the investment. But here are some ideas of, as we're going through that, what we look at and what type of companies we want to see in our economy and in our culture. And I don't know if you wanted to touch on any of these, Kristin?
Yeah, absolutely. And so what you count on your asset manager to do is to make you money. I mean, that's what you're hiring them to do. That's really largely where the fees go, right? Well, we are saying that you can't stop there, that being an investor is both a right and a responsibility, and that asset managers really are called to do much more than just find the companies that are going to make you money. And so at Nia, what do? We use and leverage our investor voice across the community. We build collaborations, and we really do try to lever what we can. So we're talking to companies about all of the we're choosing the very best companies in our eyes about what are actually going to transition us and which ones are going to literally capitalize on the transition to a sustainable and regenerative economy. And we're also talking to them about their waste, about their scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, about their hiring practices, how they're viewing human capital. And are we going into other radical collaborations now?
Yeah.
Okay, she's driving, so I'm going to follow.
Yeah, and I would say that both of us, Kristin is very involved and leads the shareholder engagement. I also get to work on a lot of this stuff on the climate side, so we don't have time to go into it, but would love to share with you some of the specific things that we're doing, so feel free to track us down if you want to learn more about that. But as Kristin always says, we can't do this alone. We have a really great impact for who we are and the size we are, but we really look to have radical collaborations with the other organizations that are working in the space, and here's just a few of them that we participate with. I don't know, maybe a little bit about.
Yeah, happy to say. So at dinner last night, we don't have that we're a B Corp on here. We are very active in the B Corp community, and then here are some of the others as well. And I think others here at the forum have been talking about the 1% per planet, where 1% of our revenues are specifically going toward those nonprofits that are working on everything from water solutions to getting Black and brown people outside and safe in nature to forest restoration, et cetera. We're also part of the PRI, which is the responsible investment, and we do quite a bit of reporting, and then we also get to meet with colleagues and really challenge them to go to net zero, and when we talk about that, there's a group actually of us that are really trying to achieve a net zero asset managers, where we're taking responsibility to build investment products for clients that also want that.
And speaking of net zero, we rolled right into, looking at the carbon intensity. How much carbon are the companies that you're investing in responsible for? And so on this graph, the little green one is our portfolio, and the big blue one is a benchmark, another comparable set of stocks that we can compare ourselves to see that we are, in fact, the way that we are investing is the types of companies that are mindful and are putting less carbon emissions into our world.
That's right. And so while we're very proud of these numbers, of course, we are also talking to our companies, even though they are the very best of the best across our 6 solution themes, we are talking to them about how to be even better. And what does it mean to have circular economy business plays? So they might have an output or a particular waste that could be used by another company. And so we get into the circular economy. We really talk to them about collaborations. And of course, when they're looking at their scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, they can often find efficiencies. So it's almost like an internal audit that they can do for themselves and then be transparent about sharing out.
And one of the areas I'm really excited about that we've been working on for a while, but we're working on more, is water. Water quality, water quantity being used. As we know, that is such a hub of biodiversity and nature. So, and it sometimes gets ignored, and it is really important how it's used both in energy and, especially as AI and data centers, they use it a lot. So we're really excited about the work that we're doing there. And this takes us to myth busting number 2. So number 2 is, that's so nice you're going to invest in sustainability. That's so great that you're doing that. I'm so sorry you might have to give up on your financial returns. So what we wanted to do was break that myth today with this graph.
So this is our flagship portfolio from the beginning of this year. Is that beginning of this year? I don't know what my glasses
It's from December of 2024.
Okay, it was supposed to be January. So we've got December on here. So December through the end of May. And just showing you that during these times, even in the volatility, you can invest in the solutions. You can be fossil fuel free. You can be fossil fuel adjacent free. And what does that mean? When you're talking to your financial advisors, not only do you not want to be in oil and gas, we're talking about all of the industries that also contribute to some of the degradation of our planet. So airlines, which are very heavily reliant on the oil and gas situation. Soda that is being shipped around the globe, sugar water in plastic bottles that, as we've learned earlier, and particularly yesterday, are often not even recyclable. Other fossil fuel adjacent industries are the big banks. And we've heard from other speakers here as well, and I think we'll hear more this afternoon about those banks that are actually financing the fossil fuel industry. So being out of all those can actually help you find the alpha in the solutions.
The alpha means the gain, the higher amount.
That is right. Thank you. Thank you.
The sweet spot, the extra money. And just to show, so Nia's flagship product has been around for 10 years. So Kristin just shared the results from the near term through this very tumultuous administration and everything that's been going on. But it's also been an outperformer over the 10 years that it has been on this earth.
That's right. We're going to celebrate that this December. So we're excited. We'll be getting news out and everything. But just people say, oh, that's a short-term thing. And including my father, who lives in this town. and he'll say, Kristin does that thing called ESG. She's trying to do something really important. Now, you can't make money that way. Well, she has outperformed us for the last, I'm not sure how many years, but you can't make money that way.
So we need some help breaking the myths.
Yes.
And actually, we have some really exciting news to share. So we have some breaking news that broke this morning, and we're continuing to see it picked up in more media that really shows the power of what we're doing. I'd like to say also the power of women leading asset management. There's only 0.7% of the $84 trillion in the US is managed by women-led firms. And so against that, I'm really excited to share, or for Kristin to share, this really wonderful breaking news that we have.
Yeah, we have entered into a partnership with the Sierra Club, and why this is a big deal, well, one, we're super excited. We love all of the game-changing work that they're doing, and we love that we're going to get to be in collaboration on some of this with them. The big deal for them is that they are leaving their managers at BlackRock. And they went to the press with this. So we were pretty excited to see our names in the press this morning that they are choosing Nia over their other investment firms. So,
So thank you for celebrating with us. We just feel like this just shows that that what we're doing is, it's been taking off, but it's going to take off more. And at this time, we need positivity and positive news. And just really excited to share that with you. I think with that, thank you for your time.
Yeah, I've got a couple more things.
Oh, no, never mind.
The Holly and Kristin show could use a little bit more rehearsing maybe. But just wanting to reiterate what Holly's saying too, because I think we've seen on this stage, I know we've seen on this stage in the last couple of days that when we're inserting women into leadership positions, the environment generally does better. And that actually is true for asset management as well. And there's more studies coming out. And of course we need more, but we also need to have more women in asset management to even have enough numbers to do those studies. And so just wanted to reiterate also that every person in this room has the power to use your voice, and whether that's at where your checking account is, where your investments are, whether you're talking to your financial advisor, and really it is going to take each one of us in this room to make a change. And what's kind of exciting about that is that you're generally educating somebody like your financial advisor about what you want to do, and then they learn, and then that's a catalyzer out to the rest of the world. So this can actually be fun, and you don't have to do it alone. We have groups of women in New York that go with each other. They bring cupcakes to break up with their banker, their financial advisor, and they make a party. So anyway, we welcome you into this piece of the movement, and together we are really going to invest for the economy that works for everybody. Yeah.